Hey everyone, and welcome to God's Trigger. God's Trigger is a top-down twin-stick shooter, more or less in the style of Hotline Miami. And we'll go over most of the mechanics during this intro level, but right off the bat, we will play as two characters, Harry and Judy. Harry is an angel with a melee attack, he just has a sword, and Harry can dash. During this dash he is invincible, and his sword slash reflects bullets. And then Judy can instead teleport, and she has a chain, so it's like a semi-ranged attack. However, Harry's usually faster, so we'll play most of the game as him, unless we're doing out-of-bounds sections. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So, right off the bat, there's going to be a tutorial level here, and then here during this black screen we can already move a little bit, which means we can already kill one of the 4 enemies in the room. As you can see here, there's already one killed enemy there. As you can see here, the dash resets when you kill an enemy. It usually has a little bit of a cooldown, just a tiny bit, but killing an enemy does reset it. So if you can dash into an enemy, you can slash with your sword while dashing. If you dash into an enemy and then slash him, you can instantly dash again, and that way you can keep your invincibility up for quite a while. Here we're gonna pick up a gun, we're gonna need it later. Here we use Harry's invincibility. Each character has a few different skills. One of them is invincibility. Here you just saw one of Judy's, which was take control of an enemy. We picked the gun up for there, so the door would open when we targeted those enemies. When you target enemies like that, the character auto-aims at them, and then the time slows down when you kill them. But we don't really use that ever, that's just used there. Here you see, real quick, our skill loadout screen. I'll explain what we're using in a little bit. You see how the sword reflects bullets to kill these 3 people there. You need to kill the TVs and all the enemies in this level. You usually don't need to kill every enemy in the level, it's just this level where you have to do this. Right, little cutscene here. And now these are the last 3 enemies remaining, and once we've killed those and looked at another cutscene, we have to escape the fire, and we're so fast you barely even see the fire. Alright, so let's talk about the skills for a little bit, because those are going to be very important. The most important skill really is Harry's invisibility. We don't use any of his other skills, basically don't worry about them. And you see at the bottom left, every kill that you get adds 1 to this bar there, and once you reach the threshold, you can see where the invisibility symbol is, then you're allowed to activate it. And this invisibility makes us invisible, enemies can no longer target us, and we also move a lot faster while we're invisible. We are allowed to dash while we're invisible, but we cannot kill any enemies that would make us visible again. And then for Judy, you saw already the skill at in the tutorial level where you can take control of other enemies. However, we don't use that one ever, apart from in the tutorial level. Here again, we just stealth and just run through the entire rest of the level to get to the end here. So we don't use that one at all because it's slow. We use one other one though, which is more or less a corpse explosion skill. So basically, in a radius around Judy, all of the corpses will explode, and then the explosions also kill enemies. However, we use a small modifier for that skill that not only corpses explode, but also living enemies. So we use that in a bunch of places when there's a room full of enemies that we need to clear, where we just basically teleport into the middle with Judy and just press 1 button and then everyone explodes, and that's really handy. So in this sequence here, we just have to kill every enemy that comes at us here, which is gonna take a little moment. And in the meantime, since the next level is going to start with the out of bounds, I'm gonna start explaining that already. So the out of bounds we always get into with Judy, because Judy's teleport is kind of busted. And the general idea is that you want to lodge yourself in between 2 hitboxes. And then ideally the game decides that the out of bounds is closer to push you into than back inbounds. and so it pushes you out of bounds, and then we can do some cool stuff. So we do this right here in the beginning. So we're gonna switch to Judy here. We'll lodge ourselves in between an invisible wall in this corner here and the guardrail. And so now just in a second here, the game will decide to push us out of the guardrail, and now we can teleport away from this train. And we just go to the edge of the map here real quick, so we will fall under the map. As you can see, you can no longer see Harry. Now we switch back to Judy. Now we're under the map, and we're just gonna teleport past everything. However, the trigger to exit the level is right there, and it's on top of the level. So we need to teleport right on top of someone to knock him over, then teleport right on top of him again and press R to execute him, and then we can use the exit. I'll explain why that works in just a second here. Now the quick out of bounds here, we teleport into this fence, and when we do it correctly, there we go. Now we're out of bounds. So this would be the first boss fight. However, we don't feel like doing the boss fight because it takes quite a long time, and so we just run past the entire boss arena, which is to the right of us here, and there's the exit, and we just take that instead. So anyway, this move with the execution we'll have to do a few times. Basically, what we do in a whole bunch of out-of-bounds sections is that we go underneath the map, and then that changes our altitude, because, well, we fell under the map. However, a lot of stuff can only be triggered when you're on top of the map. Here's the explosion, by the way. There you go. And we're gonna teleport inside this wall here to skip a bunch of stuff. Alright, anyway. Right, so a lot of stuff can only be triggered when you're on top of the map. Conveniently enough, though, when you use the teleport with Judy, even when you're under the map, for a split second it teleports you back to your original altitude on top of the map where you're supposed to be. And then certain interactions, such as executing an enemy, will reset your altitude as well. So we use the moment where we teleport and are on top of the map to knock someone over, and then to execute him, and then our altitude is completely reset, and then we can use the exit trigger. We will use this a few times, and we will also mess with altitude a few times again. One of which is going to be coming up right here. First, we need to kill these enemies, and then they're gonna introduce a new kind of enemy. This guy, he can revive dead people, as Judy is gonna note also in just a second. And after we've killed these people, and then these people, we can go down here. And now we can teleport on top of this pillar here, and if we walk up this pillar, we get a lot more altitude, so we can walk on top of the walls of the level, and then we just go to the final room and hit the exit. Wonderful. Alright, so that was a lot of stuff right off the bat. We missed a few little details in some levels, but that's okay. So here we need to kill this caterpillar, which they keep calling a worm, but whatever. He's gonna knock this wall over for us, and before we can even move past it, with Judy, because of the range of the hook, we can already kill this reviver guy. Okay, and now we're gonna do the same thing as in the last level, but on this pillar. It's a little bit more annoying because I have to switch to controller for this one. This cannot be performed with mouse and keyboard, because you cannot hold this precise direction needed to very slowly ascend this pillar here. Right, and once we've successfully ascended, we can teleport into the boss chamber here, or mini boss chamber, and just kill the head of the worm. There we go. Alright, so these next two levels don't have any out-of-bounds stuff, so we get a little bit of a breathing room here. So now we can talk a tiny bit about the lore of this game. So Harry and Judy both got banished from their respective homes. For Harry is an angel, so his home would be heaven. He got kicked out of that. And Judy has been an exile on Earth for 2,000 years, as she says in one of the very early levels. You already heard that line of dialogue. So she's a demon from hell. And the Archangel Gabriel wants to have the apocalypse happen. And they don't really want that. So what we need to do right now is defeat the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The first fight, the one that we skipped, that would have been Pestilence. And this one right here, coming up in the level after this one, will be Famine. Alright, so now what we do here is just use our stealth with Harry to get past all of these enemies, kill the 2 revivers first so they don't revive anyone, clear the remaining eggs that we had to clear in this level, and that's that. Right, now we come into the famine fight, which is basically like all the other boss fights, a huge auto-scroller. So what we have to do here, Famine wants to body slam us, and we have to lure her on top of these grills and turn them on just when she's on top of them. So she gets grilled, and that's how we damage her. And then every now and then she's gonna walk in the middle like this and wants to eat one of her followers, and we have to kill her follower before they reach her. And then she spews this stuff on the ground, which just slows you, so whenever convenient we try to not be on that side because it's just a little bit annoying, but ultimately it doesn't matter too much. Alright, so we need 2 more hits here. And then she's gonna go in the middle again, and we have to kill her followers again. And then we're almost at the end of the fight. Alright. She does that thing one more time. Then we grill her one more time. And now we need to lure her onto the big grill in the middle and cage her in there. And now we've won the boss fight. Alright, so that concludes Chapter 2. Now to Chapter 3. This is the 3rd Horseman of the Apocalypse. This one's going to be Death. This first level is going to be very, very short. At first we need to survive the section in the bar real quick, which we do by reflecting 1 bullet back to the guy behind the bar and then killing everyone else. And now we just need to kill 1 more enemy, and then we can already stealth. Alright. And then you're supposed to not die here, but my movement was kind of wacky, so it's fine. Alright, here we have our next out of bounds section. Technically at the end of the level, you're supposed to fight like 5 or 6 waves of enemies. Probably 5. We don't want to do that, that takes a long time. So what we do instead is push ourselves into this box here. And then we can push ourselves outside this wall. There we go. Alright, now we're out. And now we can just walk in the out of bounds in the blackness. That would be the fighting room, and then somewhere to the left of that door is the end level trigger. We just hit that out of bounds, and there we go. This level again has a little bit of an out of bounds section. However, we will need to play the first part of the level regularly. Again, we get ambushed, so we need to kill a bunch of people in slow-mo. Then there's these guys, these flamethrower guys. They can take quite a few hits. However, we try to just have them explode with Judy, or you can hit them in the back, like at their tanks. Unfortunately, I did not have enough kill threat here to kill them. They take like 4 hits regularly, so these are basically the scariest enemies in the game. Yeah, they only die in 1 hit if you can hit them from the back. And otherwise, they take, I think, 2 sword slashes or 4 hits with a gun or Judy's hook. Alright, here I just noticed that I don't have enough kills to use my thing that I want to use, the explosion skill, because I don't want to deal with these 2 people, so I'll just explode them. And here's our out of bounds. We just get clipped out there by this cable that's surprisingly solid. And since we're out of bounds, we can just walk through the wall. Now we just need to navigate a tiny bit in the darkness, and then turns out that here is an end level trigger. I don't really know why it's exactly there. It's kind of out of the way, but there it is, so you can just hit it out of bounds and you're done with the level. Okay, in this level you're supposed to have Judy as a sniper and have her shoot all the generators that generate these blue barriers. However, we don't really feel like dealing with that. And since we're invincible while Harry is dashing, what we can do instead is just dash through them. Also, that was very unfortunate. This level is also the only one that messes with your mouse a lot. For some reason, your mouse is always in the bottom left corner when you get spawned in this level, which is hugely annoying. And which means if you die once in one of these sections, you're basically guaranteed to lose a whole bunch of time. What we're doing here. Right, yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that, but I felt like it was kind of obvious by now. This game has a one-hit death mechanic, so as soon as you get hit by anything, you just die. Alright, there we go. And now we just need to hit these 2 triggers. So there's different perks you can choose, and one of the perks is that you can take 1 ranged hit, so you can get shot once. However, we don't use that one because on both characters we use the runner perk, which just gives them more movement speed. And obviously that is what we want. So this is a death fight. Again, huge auto-scroller. This would be a great time to read some donations. We just need to dodge the scythes, really, and then hit him every 3 throws. So basically like every boss fight ever. Just dodge until the shield is gone and then hit the guy. So now he's gonna spawn some skulls right here that you need to kill. They chase you. If you time it right, you can kill them right when they spawn, which is very convenient if you hit it. Speeds the whole thing up a little bit more. Now his pattern slightly changes. Now he's gonna throw 2 scythes outwards and then 1 straight. However, we can just wait until the 2 outward scythes are past us, and then we can teleport to the side. So really not that bad a pattern, all things considered. So we just do this for a little while. Alright, and now we get into the last phase as soon as we can hit him here. There we go. And now, in addition to doing that attack, he's gonna spawn one of these skulls every time that we have to destroy. Otherwise, they chase us. Alright, and then just 1 more hit. Alright, there we go. And now we have 1 more level we're supposed to do. So what Death means to, or wants to do here, is create a drug that just kills all of mankind. And now we're supposed to destroy all of his drug supplies. We don't really feel like doing that, so we'll just teleport into this corner a little bit. And then we're out of bounds. A little bit of invisible walls going on there that you have to navigate through. Now we have to navigate a whole bunch in the darkness. There's our character for a second. Alright, and then we need to navigate around this part. And then go back in. Oh, and here's a cutscene trigger. And now this is the end cutscene where we just escape the fire after having found death again. And we're out of the level. Alright, so this next level features a very unique mechanic in which you not only die if you get killed, but you also die if you get spotted and they're suspicious for too long. You see a red bar at the top, right there. So we're supposed to be undetected. We don't really do undetected. We mostly do kill everyone before they're too suspicious. And that's that. Alright, keys to the kingdom. I already know we're gonna be here for a little moment because, at least in my opinion, this is the hardest out of bounds to get in the entire game. Basically, we don't play any of the level at the start. We just teleport into this corner a whole bunch. However, while we do this, I can explain some stuff that we're going to do once we finally get this out of bounds, which is going to take us a little moment. And that is kill enemies while we are underneath the map. So it turns out, not only do you get teleported on top of the map for a split second when you use the teleport with Judy. However, Judy's attack, the hook, is also always on the correct altitude, or rather probably always on every altitude at once, which means if we use it underneath the map, we cannot see it, but it can kill enemies, while the enemies cannot kill us. We can also pick stuff up, the same way we knock enemies over, by teleporting on top of it and pressing the interact button. So what we need to do here is kill a few people. Ah, we got through, there we go. What we need to do here is kill a few people to authenticate us with some biometric stuff. And right here we are just going to kill the very last guy that unlocks the exit elevator. So what we're going to do here is go past all of this. Now we're off the map. Now we've fallen under the map. And now we go back. Now that we're under the map and we kill this guy there. Now we need to pick up his DNA. Then feed it to the scanner while we're still underneath the map. And we need to knock this guy over, execute him, and now we can just go to the exit. Wonderful. We're gonna do almost the same thing here, except at the end we won't use our execute trick, because for once it's not just one exit trigger that you have to step on. That only works when you're on top, like when you have the correct altitude. However, the entire exit elevator works as an end level trigger, so we can just teleport into it. We don't need to mess with any enemies at the end. What we want to do here is lodge ourselves in between these two boxes right here, which takes me longer than expected. It's usually a little faster than this, but for some reason, sometimes the boxes just don't really want to cooperate. Alright, now I'm in between the boxes, and now I can just teleport through the wall here. See, like, I'm already glitching a bunch. The game doesn't really want to give it to me, but I really want the game to give it to me. And there we go. Now we're out. And now all we have to do is go to the edge of the map, which is gonna come up there. There it is. I teleported back on top of the map a little too early. Clip me back up. Alright, there we go. Now we're underneath the map. Then the exit door is right here. We need to open it with the switch, and then we just teleport into the elevator, and that triggers the end of the level. Alright, and now we're basically going to do the exact same trick again. Please? Alright, there we go. So we're gonna teleport inside this pipe here, and now we basically just need to teleport ourselves into the wall a whole bunch until the game decides to give up and decide that the wall isn't real. We already know the wall isn't real, but the game really refuses to admit that, and so it's gonna take us a moment here to get out of bounds here until the game decides that we're ready. Alright, the game has decided we're ready, and so now we're underneath the map, and we need to trigger the final cutscene by just teleporting in this spot. Now we need to kill this guy who's invisible, but we can kill him anyway. And now we just teleport inside this elevator and trigger the end of the level. Wonderful. Alright, now that we skip basically all of Chapter 4, we fight the final horseman, which is War. And so War wants us to take down, or the game wants us to take down this barrier before entering the war fight. We don't feel like doing that. We just go to the end of it and just hit the checkpoint, and when we respawn, we just spawn here. So phase 1, we just need to mirror these lasers correctly so that War gets hit. And we try to do that as fast as possible. This one was a little slow, but in general, you can get the mirrors in place before the lasers even start. Alright, now here's phase 2. This is where we actually damage War. What you need to do is kill one of the drones that's gonna get spawned, then survive this shuriken attack, and then once she dashes into the wall, you can shoot her with the drone gun, and that damages her. So it's a little risky to do, but we usually try to be very close to War. So the travel time of her dash and also her shurikens is as small as possible. But obviously, a little bit of safety needs to be there, so we don't just die, because dying in this fight loses a lot of time. We haven't hit a checkpoint yet. There's only one checkpoint in this phase here, which is right after this segment. Right there you see top left, there was a checkpoint. And now if we die at any point after this in this fight, we will get reset to this point, so it's a huge time waster, so when in doubt, just play it a little safer here. Also, that fire trail after she dashes can definitely kill you. I have most definitely lost some runs to that. Alright, now she tries to be a little sneaky by reversing the direction of the laser. However, this attack is obviously quite easy to dodge. The really interesting part of the fight is now, when she spawns 3 of the drones. The drones also shoot missiles. They were in very convenient spawn locations here, but they can completely screw you up. Also, here she dashes twice, which when you play this game for the first time will most likely kill you if you don't know that it's coming. Alright, final chapter here. Of course, we're gonna have some more out-of-bounds stuff to feature here. But first of all, we need to survive this little ambush here, which we didn't quite manage to do, unfortunately. The guy with the shotgun killed me. Teleport through there, dash through there. This turret, if you hit a bad cycle, can be really dangerous, but we got pretty lucky there. And now what we need to do here is ideally not die, but instead kill every enemy that enters this room. So a cutscene triggers. This cutscene will only trigger once every enemy in this room is dead, which unfortunately also includes the enemies from previous sections that enter this room. Now we free the 4 horsemen. Alright, yeah, lore update. The horsemen are no longer bad, the horsemen are now good, because we found out that it was merely Gabriel who wanted to start the apocalypse and he deceived them, and now they help us take Gabriel down. Right, now we need to teleport onto this rock for a little bit. And there we go. We've teleported on top of the rock enough that we can now move out of bounds. And now we skip a whole bunch of level. We still need to kill a bunch of enemies at the end to trigger the end of the level, but first we need to fall off the map, which we have done now. You can also use the explosion skill if you teleport on top of the map, because again, you're on top of the map very briefly, which comes in very handy at the end here. And there we go. Now we just need to listen to this dialogue, and then the level will end automatically. We don't need to go back on top of the map, fortunately. There we go, level complete. Alright, so this level we will just play normally, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this one we will just play normally. A little bit of a survival section here at the start. So we'll just very slowly move to the right here while Famine kills all of the turrets and then dash through them, through the bullets with our invincibility. So that was Famine's contribution. We'll see the other horsemen later. Except for Pestilence, because he only appears in a cutscene, and that cutscene we will skip. Didn't really want to activate the slow field here because, well, it's slow. But I died, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Right, this guy needs to go, and then we can just make all of these people explode and not deal with them. You're supposed to activate a slow field in that room as well, but we don't really feel like doing that. Again, teleport through the fence with Judy, dash through the wall with Harry, die, because these turrets like to kill you a lot. Alright, here we find Death. So Death's contribution will be that he will open portals for us in the Heavenly Maze, so we can progress, which is very, very nice of him. First though, we need to kill the people that just spawned there, which shouldn't be too bad. Although if I remember correctly, I did die here. Yep, there's my death. Guys with shields can take a few hits from the front and just die if you hit them from the side or the back. Right, here in the maze, the artillery is shooting at us. And I'm gonna choose to take it safe here. Right, there's one of Death's portals. But yeah, like when in doubt, I just choose to take it a little safer here because Deaths are usually not really worth it. Right, here we need to hit 3 switches. And then in this section there's also enemies that we will just stealth past. And now we just need to survive this final ambush here. This guy, while he's spinning, cannot be hit, so we don't. Now he can be hit again, and there we go. Finished the level. Alright, so in this level we'll just play the very beginning normally, and then we'll do some out-of-bounds stuff, and then we'll play the end of the level normally again. But there's a huge middle section that we will just skip. So technically you're supposed to destroy the cannons that just shot at us in the maze in the last level. We don't really feel like doing that, you know, the cannons and us, we're cool. We don't need to destroy them. So what we will do instead is go up here, then kill everyone that's standing in this room, and then teleport into this barbed wire until we can teleport out the window, and then teleport in this piece of decoration until the game decides that the hedge is no more. Alright, the game has decided that the hedge is no more. Now we fell under the map. And now we can go to the final room, where there's a huge door that we need war to get open. To trigger the cutscene, we will just teleport into the door because they want us to try pushing on the door. And trying to push on the door resets your altitude, so now we're back on top of the map. And we cannot push open the door, as it turns out. So we need War with her laser to do that for us. So now we just need to fend off these waves of enemies to protect War while she does her thing. And so we'll just do that for a little bit. Thankfully, the game does decide to give you a checkpoint at the beginning of all of this, so you don't have to play the entire level again should you die here, but you will have to play this entire fight section at the end again, which is a huge time waster, so really you don't want to do that. Alright, and this is already going to be the last wave. We shoot this guy with the shotgun so we don't have to go all the way up there. And then as soon as the doors open, the level just ends. Ta-da. Okay, this has basically, or this has in my opinion the weirdest out of bounds, because for, like, this is the one time where you get out of bounds with a destructible object, which is this box right here. If this box gets destroyed, you have to reset the level. You cannot do it anymore. Right there. I'm gonna reset from checkpoint here because the box was destroyed. And what's supposed to happen is this. Now we fall onto the map. We need to hit these 4 switches like this. I'm gonna try to kill some enemies while I'm already here. Especially one enemy later because he has a shield. This guy right there, this guy I really want to die because he's really dangerous. And I do this because this is the other level where you actually have to kill everyone. Sometimes the game bugs here, but it doesn't happen, like it just softlocks you, but it doesn't happen if you reset from checkpoint, so we just do that. And now we go around killing everyone. But there's so many people here, we can just teleport into the middle of them with Judy and use our explosion, and that speeds things up dramatically. Alright, there we go, the flash indicates that we've killed everyone, and that's that. And now all that's left to do is the final boss fight, which is still going to take us a little bit of time. Well, the final boss fight is very long, but we should be able to get through it quite nicely. So now we fight Gabriel, who spawns these orbs, which obviously instantly kill you, and then he charges at you. But luckily, since as Harry we're invincible while dashing, we can just very easily dash through him, and that's gonna be that. And then after he does that twice, he's gonna slam down on us. Then we bind him with Judy's hook, and then we can hit him 3 times with Harry. Also, this boss has 3 phases, and while you're inside a phase, there are no checkpoints. So if we die at all in this phase, we'll have to do all of this completely over again. So deaths in this boss fight lose a lot of time. Right, again, we'll bind him down, hit him 3 times, and now we have to do that one more time with the direction of the red orbs reversing again. Alright, there's charge number 2, and now we just need to wait for him to slam down on us. There we go. And now we hit him 3 times again, and there's a checkpoint. Alright, phase 2. Now he's gonna shoot some bolts of light at us, some of which are going to be blue. Those we can reflect back at him. We need to hit him twice like that. And then his shield gets depleted, and then we can bind him again with the hook and hit him again 3 times. Alright, however, the yellow ones we cannot reflect, and they will also destroy reflected blue ones. So these are the dangerous ones. So anything that's blue we can reflect, but will get destroyed by yellow ones, and the yellow ones just kill you. They are not reflectable, they're not destructible either. Alright, phase 3. Now Harry and Judy have merged. They decided their individual power is not large enough to defeat Gabriel. They need to combine their powers. Now you need to hop over the red waves of death, then deflect the blue bolts of energy again. This time you only need to hit him once to deplete his shield. There we go. And then you can hit him once with your sword, and he's gonna take a bunch of damage. And now this is already the last move he's gonna make. All right, and slash him, and now we just need to skip this cutscene right here, and that completes the run. Wonderful. All right, so that is God's Trigger any percent. I hope you had a good time watching. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.